Welcome to another episode of Compa Financial Therapy. I am Danny.
And I am Mike, your compadres with financial stories.
How you doing?
I'm good, Danny. How are you, bro?
Okay.
Is the heat getting to you?
No, it was cold today.
All right. It
It
was
looked
good.
like it's going to rain.
That's true.
Well, it kind of rained the other day, but it was just messed up my car and that's it.
You haven't washed it, huh?
Now I have to wash it because it just messed it up.
I heard it's good to wash it when it rains. It's
Yeah.
supposed to keep some of the dirt off and all that stuff.
I don't know about that.
You know, once you go with the car wash guy told
You got to
me.
use soap.
That's true. But not Dawn detergent or...
Oh, no, you mess up your
My
color.
stepdad used to wash my mom's car con este laundry detergent.
Oh, it already faded the paint, right?
Yeah, I think he took off the gloss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it eased up the gloss. No,
No
you
me
don't want
hizo-
to do that.
No me hizo caso. I told him, like, pero yo qué sé.
Está barato. That's the hood, man.
On the grass, huh?
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about buying homes.
Mm-hmm.
I know you had experience of buying a home not too long ago, and I think we could talk a little bit about what's the process, what to look for,
Right.
what's the experience. You know, of course, after you do your savings and you have your security fund and you pay off most of your
Your dad.
debt, then the steps that if you want to be a homeowner, because
Right.
not everybody wants to be a homeowner,
That's true.
and some people prefer to be a rental
Forever, huh?
Forever. There's pluses and minuses to both. And as a renter, you never have to worry about making any repairs.
That's true. The
But-
maintenance is done by the landlord, huh?
The maintenance
My
is done by
suegro
the-
used to
Mhm.
be the landlord. Eh?
But the downside is that they could kick you out whenever they want.
Not right now, though.
Oh, not right now, no.
Not right now.
But once that the pandemic is over, then they could kick you out.
Start evicting people, huh?
Yeah, it's getting hard for landlords to evict. Now you got to have a reason to evict them, but you know if you have a good contract, you could always find a loophole
Right.
to
Make
that they're
it,
violating certain clause in your contract. But
Make
it
it
is
that
getting more
contract.
difficult. Yeah.
okay. I think it's up in the court right now, right? If they're going to do the evictions or not.
Well, the feds, U.S. Supreme Court says they can't
Right.
do it, but the state is still saying you can. So we'll see where that
We'll
goes.
see how that goes, huh?
I don't think it should prevent people from evicting. I mean, it gets a little personal. I think what should have done is, if the government really, which now they're doing, I think they should have been paying the rent for the tenants rather than
The government?
yeah.
That's a lot of money, though. Where are they going to get that money from?
Well, I mean, why does a little mom and pop landlord have to cover the burden for the government and for the tenants?
True.
You know, and that's the thing that when they put these moratoriums, yeah, it's helping the tenants. The banks still have to pay collect the mortgage, and they don't give you a leeway. And in some cases, they do it. I think if you were hit really hard, but still, the bank and the government itself is still expecting their property taxes. They're still
Right.
expecting for you to pay the insurance. They're still expected to pay all that. So where's the landlord supposed to get the money for that?
Right. The other argument I could see from people is, we talk about paying, right, the landlords, is they have a lot of money for, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but for the homeless people, right?
Yeah.
There's a billions of dollars for the homeless to house them, to provide them. Pero ¿por qué no for the other people who are maybe once in their lifetime now having a hardship, right?
Because my experience with government, when it comes to welfare or assistance, it's either you're super poor,
Right.
but nothing in that borderline.
Right.
I could tell you from experience of people that I know that, you know, I knew there's one person at one time where, you know, there was medical issues and stuff, and the wife didn't have insurance that covered. So the person went to go get assistance, and what ended up happening? Well, your husband works.
Right.
You can't. You don't qualify.
Right.
So what did the guy ended up doing? He ended up quitting his job just to get the benefits.
Just to get the benefits?
The benefits, and because, and he wasn't working like full-time job. It was like a part-time job.
Damn.
And but just because he had a part-time job, it was too much money, so he didn't qualify.
That
So
sucks.
it sucks. So that's why you either got to be super poor and homeless.
Right.
But if you're in that borderline homeless,
It
doesn't count. They won't help you.
I remember one time somebody, they had contacted a county resource,
Mhm.
and the person said, "Hey, I just got kicked out. I'm homeless now." And the response was, in order for us to help you, you have to be homeless for 1 year.
1 year.
For 1 year before we can help you out.
Wow. See.
And see, now that person, what I was thinking, like, dude, that person has to be homeless for 1 year, getting deep into homelessness, before they can offer him services.
And then what happens with that person? Because you're out on the streets.
Right.
It's a whole different.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Yeah. You probably start getting into drugs and to cope and alcohol. That's not good.
Right. And that's why I was thinking. I was like, dude, so you want this person to be homeless for a year, adding all those things you just said, going to go into maybe a depression, right? Anxiety, could start doing alcohol, and marijuana.
And maybe all they need is just a little bit hand to get them through, to get them back on their feet. Would have made a big difference.
And the other kicker was, he'll get the help after 1 year, but even to get housing for homeless can take another year, 2 years, 3 years.
So, I don't know.
I don't know either. You got to create a system, Danny.
We got to create a different system where, for those who are about to experience homelessness, help them not to go to that route. Once you're there, it's harder to jump back.
It is. It's hard.
So prevent them from going there, and it's not an easy solution. But I mean, it's something that the government needs to take control. But it shouldn't be just a state level. It should be a national level.
Right.
Because it's happening in every state in the United States that they're experiencing homelessness. But there's more in some states than others, so it should be a balance.
And I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but just a little fact, in case you guys wanted to know. But what happens is California offers a lot of housing, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens is people from different states, they start coming. So the whole homelessness thing is not going to be fixed. No. People start coming to California because they hear free housing in California. Just show up, they'll give you housing.
That's why it's supposed to be a national level.
Right.
If everybody gets equal distribution, everybody has equal possibilities of accessing these services, then it wouldn't be as big of a problem. It would still be a problem, but I think it'll be more manageable per state. Some states are a lot colder than others. California has beautiful weather year-round.
We get, 50 weeks of summer, 2 weeks of winter?
Yeah. There you go.
Doable.
Can't beat that. But so let's talk about how buying a house. So let's say you want to buy a house. Typically, they want 20% down. First-time home buyers.
Depending on which loan you go through, right? Which type of home loan you get?
Well, conventional loans. Okay. Because military loans, or what they call VA loans.
The VA loans, yeah.
What do they ask for?
They ask for 0 down. You can actually put 0 down.
Oh, really?
0 down. But that doesn't mean you're not going to pay for the ¿cómo se llama? The closing cost. You don't have a PMI with the VA loan. Because it's guaranteed by the VA.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like, I guess they're kind of like co-signing.
Co-signing the loan for you and putting the down payment for you.
Yeah, so there's no PMI. You don't have to pay that. Nada de eso. No down payment. If you want to put a down payment, obviously it'll benefit you. It'll bring your payments down a little bit. But you don't have to put anything down.
That's not a bad deal.
Not at all.
So how come... Why don't a lot of people take advantage of the VA loan? Is there a disadvantage?
You want me to tell you what the problem with the VA is?
Yeah. Maybe they could fix it.
Lack of information.
Or just people don't know about it?
People don't know about it. The VA doesn't make you aware of it. You really have to do your research. You really have to go investigate, talk to people, talk to other people, ask.
Is it very difficult to do?
It's not. But if you don't know that you have to look for something, they hold us.
So if somebody wants to get information, they could contact us and you'll guide them through the process?
You can do that, yeah. Or you can contact a local VA and they will give you, there's at the VA hospitals or clinics, they have little booklets and it tells you all the benefits that they have. And then also based on what percentage disability you're rated at, from 0 to 100%. And each one will tell you, at 0% you qualify for this or whatever. 10% you qualify for this. 0% you qualify, your kids can go to college for free or they pay a large amount of it. 10% you qualify for this. 30% I think is when you start getting more benefits. Por ejemplo, computers, suits, ¿cómo se llama? They'll train you también, rehabilitation time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You can get more stuff. The higher the rating, the better.
So
more benefits.
But it's not the better because that means they're injured, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the better for the benefits, but it's not the better for the person because that means you're probably injured and not good for you physically, but good for your family or mentally, yeah.
Because even let's say you wanted free dental. In order to get free dental, and this was based on a few years back, I don't know what it's now, In order to get free dental from the VA, you have to be 100%
Disabled.
rated disabled.
Oh wow.
So imagine 100% disability. That's when you
Wow.
get dental.
I'll pay the $25 at the down the street for dental check.
Yeah.
I think if you serve the military, you give your 8 years of your life defending the country. I don't think veterans should be relying on nonprofit organizations. They shouldn't have to rely on charity or any of that. If you give your life to the government, the
Right.
government should take care of it.
Right.
I know I'm not going to be popular in that with the government, but I think that's my opinion that, hey, you gave up especially if you got injured, you gave up
Right.
a good part of your body, your soul, your mind, whatever. They should be helping you for the rest of your life.
You would think that they would help you out, right? They go, it's a lack of information, right?
But let me interrupt you. I don't think we let our viewers know that you served our military, and thank you for our service. I don't know if you want to say the branch that you served in, but that's why you know so much about the military side.
Yes. So yeah, I served in the Marines
Okay.
from 2001 2005, right? And there is a disconnect from when you leave the military and you transition over to the VA. The VA takes over once you're done, right? The military, obviously, when you're in the military, they take care of you. Once you're done, then you transition over to the VA if you qualify. But you would think that they would offer more information, and I think that's where they're lacking. They don't provide a lot of information.
Is it because they don't want to, or is it why is there that disconnect? Because the stuff is there, just I guess you say people don't know about it, but why is that?
I'll give you an example. The same day that Michael Jackson died, I ended up with bronchitis, and I didn't even know I had bronchitis. I was in bed Friday, Saturday, I think it was like June 25th, algo así. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And my wife kept waking me up and giving me medication every couple of hours, and I would just sleep. On Monday, I went to work, and I told my boss, like, dude, I don't feel good. Can you please let me go home? I feel like crap. I come back home and I sleep, and my wife called the VA. At this point, I had already been out of the military for 4 years, right? My wife called the VA, and she's like, hey, can you guys see my husband? He doesn't have health insurance, but he served with you guys. And this is when we found out that I had free healthcare for the rest of my life.
Wow. 4 years after.
4 years, I didn't even know. So I went to the VA. I'm like, dude, you guys never told me this. The representative from the VA said, the military should have told you that. I don't think that's true. Because it's the VA that's taking care of me.
Yeah, probably the VA should say, hey, you're no longer serving. Welcome to, civilian life, and
Right.
these are your benefits that we offer you.
Right. But they didn't.
Probably to save money, because it took you 4 years to figure it out. So how much money did it save? Because you would have gone to a doctor.
I would have gone to the
sometime,
doctor a lot of times. Several times. Once a year at least, for a physical. But no.
Me duele el dedo, and ahí va.
See, I'm sneezing. I'm sneezing a little bit louder than usual. So they don't tell you it. I don't know. I've heard a lot of different stories. I don't want to put too much out there, but I had a friend that worked out there.
Well, hopefully they change that, because I know they're trying to clean up the issues with the VA, and they're trying to get more information out there. Well, hopefully they fix that.
They have cleaned up the VA. I will tell you this. I think in 2008 I saw a big change. Before I used to see like a lot of homeless people outside of the VA. Now they changed it a lot. So I don't see homeless people out there.
They were moved to downtown.
Some of them moved to downtown. Yes, you're right about that. But then some of them moved. I think they found housing for them. We started creating programs for housing.
Okay.
Right. And I think some of those programs are even for permanent housing. So first there's like transitional housing, emergency housing, and then they have more permanent housing.
Wow.
So, and to bring it back, now they have, I don't know if they had it before, but now I was made aware that they do have like a VA guarantee home loan that they help with.
And that's your experience when you bought your house, you used the VA.
Yeah.
Now, so the process is simple. You go online, you submit your paperwork, and you're entitled to buy any type of house?
So
or,
you can
or
actually
only certain areas, or how does that work?
So you can buy. So you go into the VA. They have a website. I think it's under My Healthcare, algo así, and you have to print out what's called the certificate of eligibility, right? And so there's 3 type of people that qualify: current active service members, and then you have veterans, people that are no longer serving, and you have surviving spouses, right? And then with the there's certain criteria that you meet, right? I think for veterans and active members, you have to have served X amount of time, depending if it's wartime. I think it's 90 days in wartime. But we've been in war for
20 years.
forever, 20 years straight. So pretty much a lot of people. will qualify for that one. But if it's peacetime, it'll be, I think you have to have served 181 days. Then you put in your certificate of eligibility, you print it out from the VA website, and that will help you get the loan, because that it guarantees now that the VA is covering you and you qualify for that loan. So lenders will help you out.
But you go to any neighborhood, or is only certain neighborhoods? Do you have to go like to the hood, or you got to go to Beverly Hills? What can you buy? Anything? Or is there a limit? There's not a limit.
So the VA says there's no limit, but it also depends on how much you're making, right?
Also, they base it on your personal income.
On your income también. They say que no, but it is. Because I remember the first time I went to one company, one lender, and they said, "Oh, you qualify for this much." And in the area we were looking for, LA County, can I see that?
LA County. Yeah.
LA County, right. Southern California.
Southern California.
Expensive. They said, "You qualify for this." I'm like, "But that's like nothing. Can you push it to this?" They're like, "Yeah, we'll add another 10,000 more." So we're looking around, and that didn't work. So I called them again. I said, "Can you push it more?" Like, "We'll push it to another 15 more." I'm like, "All right." But then that still wasn't enough. So we ended up finding a realtor who worked with the lender who has experience with VA, and she was able to get us a higher amount. Yeah, almost $100,000 more.
Oh wow, big
than
difference.
the other company. Yeah,
big difference.
Yeah, and they were even able to push that. They even told us they can bring it up about 115,000 more.
Okay. Now, I guess the on the private side, you still have to get pre-qualified. So in your case, you got that letter, right? The certificate that's equivalent to getting pre-qualified.
The certificate of eligibility lets the lenders know that you qualify for a VA loan.
But then you still have to get pre-qualified with the lender as far as the amount.
Correct.
Yeah.
You still have to do that. So you got to provide all your debt.
So once you get past that, then you go to your lender. Hopefully you find one that knows how to deal with VA.
Yeah, get one that has experience with the VA.
Because it'll make a big difference.
Because people tell you, "Oh, I have experience." Like, no, you don't. You don't know.
One that really knows how to process them. Good point.
Right.
I think. So once you have that, then and the private side, you get your pre-qualification as far as
right.
This way you know what to go look for.
Right. And I think that's important to state, because I think when we first started looking for homes, we weren't even pre-qualified. We were just looking for homes on Realtor.com, Zillow, whatever, Redfin. But that's not the correct way to go about it. No. You have to be pre-qualified before you go looking at houses.
Because you could go to Beverly Hills and like, no, I can't afford that.
Right.
Or you go, so you got to know what's your budget, and then kind of look at the areas and see if that's really a realistic budget that you're looking for. Because if it's not, then you're looking in the wrong neighborhood.
And you're also wasting the realtor's time. People don't even want to talk to you when you go to an open house. Like, you're not even pre-qualified. Exactly. You don't even know what you qualify for.
Exactly. So once you get pre-qualified, you and know how much you're able to buy, then you can start focusing on specific neighborhoods.
Right.
What are the things that you learn that when you were buying a house that you need to look for? I have a couple ideas. What I tell people, what to look for, what not to look for, what not to be worried about.
So when they're blindly, it was our first home. A lot of people, I think we didn't ask. We should have also asked other people, like, "Hey, can you give me some advice?" People that already have experience. I don't know if I came to you. I don't think I did.
No.
Come to you.
You just told me you already found one.
Yeah. Mistake number one. Okay.
Mistake number one. Because I would have told you what to look for, what not to look for.
Right. And I think you told me, like, bad house, right? You said bad purchase, get rid of it. No, I'm just kidding. For us, one thing we were looking for is we wanted to look for a school that's close to our kids' school. Cerquitas. We didn't want to be traveling far.
Did you check if the house was haunted? No.
It's a funny story about that. So we had some friends come over and they told us that there's an old man who's deceased just looking at our house. I was like, "Oh, there's a spirit back there looking."
But they were messing with you, though.
No, they weren't.
No, really? Or
yeah, they told us. Like,
well, what are they, like brujos, or what are they? Or how did they see the guy?
That they have a special power, a sixth sense.
I don't know if you want to have them as friends.
I don't know if you've been to my house, huh? You see the red door in the back? Like, if you look at that brick wall, there's, for some reason, the brick wall stopped and there's a red door.
But that's para los duendes, man.
Well, she said there was an older guy that's there. He's deceased and he's just a curious old man that looks.
They need to call the ghost whisperer to come and,
see
the house and welcome to the other side, right?
Sáquese.
Like in that show.
Go back home. But yeah, some people do. One thing we haven't done, we usually do, is bless our home. But with the whole pandemic, though, the churches weren't open, and I think they're finally back open.
But you can do your own blessing.
Yeah.
Just get the holy water and pray in all the corners.
Or some sage.
Or sage, I
or
think.
Marijuana.
But that's getting into like the black spirit of stuff.
Sí. So
Okay.
that is a funny story that somebody told me about the red door in the back. I said, okay.
I don't know. I think they were just messing with you, man.
I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
The
Would
home
you,
I bought. but not
would
the
you
store.
buy a house if you knew somebody had died there?
So we have another story about that.
On your house?
No,
Or is it a
not
different
our house. A different house. We had looked at another house.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me about that. Hey, would you buy a house? And I guess you didn't buy it then, right?
I didn't care.
But you
My wife
okay,
cared. My wife, she loves that I talk about it every time. So we had looked at this house in a city nearby, and she's like, "There's something about this house." I said, "It's nice. I like it." She's like, "No, there's something else about it." I said,
She had a bad feeling about
"She
it?
had a bad feeling." I said, "Dude, oh God." Bueno pues. So we call the realtor, and my wife is like, "Ask her if anybody died there."
But there's a place in California, if anybody dies within 3 years,
3 years, yeah.
they have to disclose it.
Right. So we call the realtor 8 o'clock at night. And we're like, "Hey, Rosa, can you do me a favor?" I said, "Can you ask the owners if anybody's died in the house?" She's like, "Hey, Mike, just so you're aware, they have to disclose within 3 years if anybody's passed." She's like, "It's kind of weird for me to ask them, but let me call you back." Within 10 minutes, she called him back. She's like, "Hey, that was a kind of weird question for me to ask them, but they want me to let you know that somebody died there like 15 years ago." Yeah.
Wow. So your wife is kind of like a bruja then.
I've always told her, I'm
I
like,
don't wanna...
I've always told her. Siempre le digo, "Pinche bruja." And she's like, "Cállate."
Well, she kind of sensed it.
She did. She's like, "I got a bad feeling. We went to go see the house. There was something." And I was like, "Come on, dude."
We're gonna get subscribers like thinking, "Hey, come and check out our house. See if you feel any
She's
bad
gonna be
ghosts."
she's gonna be the ghost whisperer, huh?
She's gonna be like, what is it that star that went and was it Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Did she?
Yeah, that was her show. That she would go to places and she would see the ghosts and she would help them walk over. Maybe that could be your wife, man, real life.
Yeah, that might be her side hustle.
Yeah, you have to talk to her about it.
Yeah. So we let the house go because of that. My wife, and it was the guy committed suicide.
Yeah.
Right outside our like what would have been our bedroom window. Like, my wife's like, "Nope."
I purchased a property once where I knew the person that committed suicide.
See.
And, against my wife's, like, "No, don't buy it." The same thing, I guess the wife's don't are afraid of it. I go, "Look." I ended up tearing down the property and built something new, but before I tore it down, it was being rented. And the renters there, they would complain, like, "Hey, we're hearing noises, we're hearing this." It's like, I don't know about this. And, yeah. But,
Really?
we tore it down. And then once we tore it down, again, we went and had the land blessed. And when we took the priest was like, "I never done this before, but okay, I'll do it."
Really?
Yeah. And then after the building was built, we had it blessed again. Yeah, I said, hey,
I'm
somewhere
surprised.
along the line, it's a house. There's probably somebody died at one point or another.
Yeah. And that's what I think too. At some point, a lot of these houses would have had somebody that passed away or nearby. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would buy a house if somebody passed away.
Yeah. I think key things when you're buying a house you need to look for is that the structure of the house is sound, meaning
Right.
your foundation, the walls are not buckling, or the doors they're not getting stuck, or windows getting stuck, because then there could be some foundation issues.
Right.
So when we were looking for a house, it took us a while because my wife was picking in the area and I was picking as far as like I didn't like houses with alleys or in the corner.
Right.
And that was just me because having an alley, that's just another area where somebody could jump over and get into the house, or a corner house, there's
Right.
more access to your house. So I was looking for a specific house in the middle of a block, no alleys in the back, and so that's why it took us a while. But key things is floor plan, right? Make sure the floor plan is what you like, because I have had known people where they buy a house, "Oh, I don't like the kitchen in this location," or "I don't like this bedroom because you got to go through these rooms to get to it," and you got to look the floor plan, because that is very difficult to change.
Right.
Expensive items to fix are kitchens and bathrooms. So if you don't have money to go and get the whole house, you want to have at least enough to where you could do a basic remodel on that. But as far as colors, because I've had friends where it says, "Oh, I don't like this house because the color of the living room was..."
Yeah, but that's easy.
You
That's an
paint-
easy fix.
Easy fix. Color, carpets and floorings, easy fix.
Right.
And personally, I like to give my own taste to the home that I'm living in,
Right,
rather
right.
than somebody else's, like, "Oh, we painted in here, move in." So those are like easy fix. Same thing with landscaping. You know,
That's easy.
you could change the grass, flowers. 'Cause I've had people like, oh, I don't like this house because it has a really ugly tree. Well, chop out the tree. You know, but the house
For
is
that,
beautiful.
huh?
Yeah. But
Damn.
big ticket items like if you don't want a swimming pool, no swimming pool. You know,
Right.
Those are difficult items to remove or change.
Right. We wanted something with the pool with a nice backyard. That was another thing that we were looking for. It's closer to school, to the kids' school. Enough bedrooms for all of us, and a nice backyard because we like hanging out outside.
Yeah.
We're outside people. But with the pandemic, now we're inside. We're grounded.
I mean, there's advantage of having a large yard versus a small yard.
Right.
You know, the advantage, when you want to be outside, when you have family over, large backyard and
Right.
swimming pool is great. The disadvantage, if you don't have a gardener and you have to do the yard work, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. That's why I fired my gardener. I'm my own gardener.
Yeah, it gets a lot of work.
But that's a different topic for a different day.
No, I mean,
Can I say something about gardeners?
Yeah.
Be your own gardener. You can do a lot of stuff.
Oh,
You
no.
can make it look nicer. I'm not a big fan of gardeners. I mean, I am.
I used to do my gardening when I first bought my house, but because it's such a big yard, it would take me 3 days to do the yard by myself. You know, one day I would do the front,
Right.
the edges. The other day I would do the backyard. It's like I said, no.
But you're married, no?
Well, yeah, but so what does that have to do with it?
That's my therapy outside. Gardening? I kid you not, my front yard. You see my yard? It's not that my front yard. It's not that big.
But you make it like a 3-day chore,
Like 3 hours. It takes me 3 hours to do it.
just to get away from your wife.
I
That's
don't-
a whole different issue.
I don't say
then.
get away from her. I'm just saying that's
Your therapy.
My
If you need
therapy.
therapy, then
that's my self care. My self care don't care. Vámonos para afuera. Yo solito.
I don't know, but hard labor. I thought, but find something else. Read a book
Read a book.
or
I
something.
can do that too. Yeah.
You know,
Read a book.
and learn how to invest more money. We could teach our people.
I'm doing that. I've got some people to shift some of their investments. Yeah.
I don't know. You haven't convinced me about go cut my grass now.
We got to show you results. Give me.
Or you can come and do mine if you want. If a lot of you need more therapy, I have a lot of grass.
That's true. That's true.
You
I'll
get
do-
plenty
I'll
of
do-
therapy.
I'll do the front one day. The side another day. The back. Your back is big. That's gonna take me like 4 days. That's a week, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
I gotta do it in 6 days because then I gotta do.
Then when are
my
you gonna
house.
work? That means
I'm
you have
working
to
from home.
retire.
I'm working from home. So I take advantage
Going your long breaks to go cut my grass
during my lunches. Don't call me.
Yeah. So those are let's going back to buying a house. So, you know, don't worry about color. Don't worry. You know,
Right.
roof. It gets expensive. So make sure the roof is at least a couple years old.
That's one thing my insurance lady told me. She said, hey, make sure your roof is good.
Yeah.
Because if there's any issues, it's like it's going to cost you $20, $30, something thousand dollars.
Right now it's about $20,000-$30,000, and
Yeah.
if you don't have the money, Now, if the property is like a fixer-upper, that's a whole different ballgame because then you're going in, but you're already expecting to buy the property at bottom price, and those are the good properties because you could go in there and get something like for a while I used to flip homes, and there was homes that we bought where like I think somebody died here, or you're gonna find a dead person in here because it was full of trash and graffiti, and you would go in there like, wow, I don't know about this.
Sketchy, huh?
It was very sketchy, but I always looked at the bones of the house, and we went in there and we cleaned it all up, opened up the windows, changed the windows, and do full remodel. We made good money by that was our business at one time, by flipping them. So depends on but if it's a first time house, you don't want to go and spend 6 months in remodeling your house.
Right. It takes a while too.
And it takes money. And if it's your house and you don't have that type of money to invest in it, where are you going to get it?
Right.
Yeah, so you have to figure that out early on. If you're going to buy something, do you have an extra money to fix it? And if it is, how much money are you going to budget? And that will determine the type of house you buy, where you buy it.
One of the things that we went into was the mindset I went to, and I had to tell my wife, like, hey, go into it with looking at the house to see if it has potential. Potential to me, like, if it's not what you want, can you make it how you want it?
Yeah,
Which,
if you could change the colors,
Right.
you could change the flooring. And the key is the floor, the layout.
Right.
Because there was a lot of houses that I thought they were beautiful. Personally, I don't like houses that when you walk in and there's a kitchen.
That's my house. Oh, good to know.
Oh, so sorry.
As soon as you walk in, ahí está la cocina. And we
Yeah.
opened it up, you saw.
Yeah, but that's me.
Right.
But yeah, you like that. I like to have the kitchen in the back, kind of very traditional.
Right.
You know, my house is very traditional. You got the living room, dining room, and then the kitchen's in the back.
See.
But you know, I know the newer homes, the kitchen's part of the main part of the house.
Yeah.
So it depends on your personal preference.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you have a nice house. I'm just saying, but personally, I like the rooms separated, very traditional.
With us, we wanted to open. My
Yeah.
wife always wanted like an open floor plan. She's the one that brought up the idea of open floor plan. I'm like, all right. So we tore down the wall. Well, we didn't tear it down, but we had somebody tear it down. In the kitchen, the living room.
Did you get permit? No, I'm just kidding. No, talking about permits.
Do we get permits? Do we ever get permits?
Well, the Raza never gets permits, but here's the thing: when you're buying a house,
I don't think I need permits for my house. Mi casa.
Well, I don't
But
know.
the government thinks otherwise. You know?
Yeah, but when you're buying a house, you should look to see if there's permits in the house. Because I ran into people in my field where people buy a house and it turns out that the whole second unit that they thought they were buying, or that the garage was converted,
Right.
didn't have permits, and now
They gotta tear it
here
down.
comes a government agency like, hey, this doesn't have permits, you have to tear. But wait a minute, I bought 2 units. Well, no, you only bought 1 unit, but they told me it was 2 units. So do your homework.
Right.
You know, spend a day, go to your local city hall, building department, planning department, assessor's department, and get the records.
Right.
And see what's legally there. Now, if you find out that the unit, let's say the rear patio is not permitted, and you're willing to take the risk down the line, if ever you get caught that it was not permitted, at least you know, hey, I'm buying this with no permits. But that could be to an advantage. You could say, hey, you know, your patio doesn't have permits. I'm gonna knock off
Offer you less
money because of that. I'll take the risk, but I want to pay less.
And that's one of the things we experienced with the VA loan. I think one of the realtors said, hey, listen, this house is listed at 5 bedrooms, but I think only 3 are actually, and the VA is not going to allow the other 2 rooms. You might have to tear them down. Because the VA is something that's strict with what they allow. I had a friend.
That's a big difference, 2 bedrooms.
Yeah. I think one of them was a garage, and I think they converted something behind the garage también. And one of my friends who lives in Chicago, he went to the VA loan también. He used a VA loan. He's the one that explained to me how to do it. When they do the home inspection, there's certain things that the VA needs you as a seller to have fixed in order for them to say yes to the home. Yeah. And it's like...
Which is good for you guys
right.
as a buyer, because it at least you're assured that the home meets the minimum requirements.
Right.
Yeah.
For him, I think one of the things that the seller had to fix, something to do with the window. I think something was broken in the window or whatever. Like, you got to fix that. And then I think another thing was like the water heaters. I think they had to be updated. With
they have to be strapped
to the wall, and I forgot what other stuff. So those are things which are good things, right, for the buyer, for the veteran.
Another thing that looking for when you're doing your walkthrough. I mean, it's one thing you see the house, and they usually give you time to go back and do a real inspection. Hire a professional, pay the money. It'll save you a lot of headaches down the line. At least you'll know what you're getting when you're buying a house. If you're going to spend, $800,000, $500,000 on a home, $300, $400 for an inspection, it's well worth it. At least you're getting a report of what the condition is of the house or whatever's wrong with it. Because they're supposed to go under the house to make sure it's bolted. They'll look at your electrical panel, make sure that it's upgraded. You don't have the old fuses. They'll look at outlets to make sure that they're working. They'll check your plumbing, what type of plumbing you have. Do you have the old galvanized? Is there asbestos in the house?
Any water damage, history
of water damage. So it's worth paying for that. Now, I know some time ago we were talking about buying a house and home warranties. For your very first home, I do believe that get the home warranty for at least 2 years.
Okay.
3 years maybe. And the reason is because when you're buying a house, as you probably know, you're going to do remodels.
Right.
You're going to do repairs. And that's going to suck up your savings or whatever, the money that you had for that really quick. And if something breaks down that you weren't planning on remodel, what are you going to do?
Right.
So at least for the year, 2, 3 years that you have this warranty, they cover and they don't cover. It's like any insurance.
Right.
They'll fight you most of the time that, that's not covered. But at least you have something that will help you to fix whatever needs to be done, like an air conditioner, water heater.
Right. I think the first year, so I think our sellers, the people we purchased the property from, they paid for the first year warranty.
That's pretty good.
I think it was like $495. Algo así. They chose one of the best ones.
Yeah.
$495, and then I think within a few months we had to have the AC. They had to put some more, whatever the hell they put it, refrigerant, Freon, whatever the hell.
Freon.
So they put that. That was like a $75 call. I'm like, all right, nothing else is broken down in the house. When it was following year, the warranty company called me like, hey, do you want to renew? I said, sure. How much is it? They're like, this year it's $600, $650. I said, why did it jump? They're like, well, the first year you already had somebody inspect it for you, so everything's fine. We know what's wrong with it, but everything's fine. Now it's a year old, so now things can go bad.
Tell me, what if I get it inspected?
That would be it. If I got it inspected,
Would that lower the cost?
I don't know if it would. I mean, and I think it would cost a little bit more because now I'm adding on $300 for the inspection plus the $600.
No, but would they lower their price back to the $400 if you had gotten inspected?
Then it would come up. Let's suppose the $300 plus the $4. What did I say?
Oh, it would have still been the same.
Yeah. So I'm like, we're on year 2. We had to replace one thing. That's another $75.
So it's getting to the point like,
is it even worth it?
Is
Yeah.
it even worth it? And
or do I just save the money in case something breaks down?
What you should. And that's what we talked about one of our last videos, where you should have a savings for repairs and, for those things, especially if you own a home.
Right.
So if you're doing the Dave Ramsey or following our advice, you should have reserves and you don't have to worry about getting that insurance.
I just think with the insurance, it's like a peace of mind. Like, they'll take care of it for $75 versus me having to ship.
But you've only had little stuff. I had friends who've had the insurance, and their air conditioner went out, and they had to fight to get it replaced because that's a $4,000 expense.
Damn.
And say no, it's not covered, and it was a big hassle. So you've had little stuff. Imagine if something big goes bad,
One of my friends, I think their AC went down, and they were looking to upgrade. I'll go see it. It was like $12,000.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's a little expensive for
an AC?
Yeah.
Central?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that's what they quote. I was like, fuck,
that's like almost for a new install.
Yeah, I think if they were going to redo everything, it was going to be like $12,000.
Ducts and everything?
I think so.
Okay.
To me, that's still a lot. Like, damn,
it's still a lot, yeah. I mean, average is about $6,000, probably $8,000 right now. Well, everything's expensive right now in construction, so.
One thing with the VA loan that I wanted to add también is the guy that did our inspection. I forgot what company it was, but I think the realtors, they had to pick somebody that the VA approved of. They offered us I think the inspection is like $300, right? Algo así, and they give you a full report of all what's good, what's bad, and whatever. But they offered us $100 off. So for veterans, some companies will offer a discount.
Really? That's pretty good.
So he's like, hey, he told us in our face, like, you get $100 down.
Now, did you get your house tinted for termites?
I think that's part of the requirement for the VA.
Oh, so you actually physically had it tinted?
Somebody else.
Or they just did the termite inspection?
They tinted the house.
They covered it up,
Yeah, I remember because we used, so I knew the house was going to be mine. I used to drive by pretty much every night to make sure nobody was breaking into the house.
Well, I mean, before you close escrow, because it's something you could drive through the day or unless you know the neighborhood really, really well, it's good to drive through the property in the morning, weekends.
Right.
Because, I mean, in the weekday, this is a beautiful neighborhood. In the weekend, it could be a party fest across the street.
Yeah.
So it's good to drive. So don't feel bad about that.
Well, no, I'm laughing because I wanted to make sure they tinted the house. I'm like, let me make sure that they tinted the house, And we would drive by, and then it looked like a circus because it's all tinted up. And I'm like, okay, it's part of the VA thing. They have to tint it. They have to have the house tinted for whatever termites, insects, lo que sea. So they take care of it.
I recommend that. And when we bought our house, the first house, we didn't tint it, and they came and they did the termite inspection. They said there was a little area with termites, and they treat that area and change the piece of wood that was damaged. Well, a few years later, we started seeing termites, and it's like, because usually when you tint it, it's good for like 10 years typically.
Is it?
Yeah, it's about 10 years that the whatever chemical they do, it lasts on the home. Oh. So now I tell everybody, hey, just pay for the tint. Your house is empty. Go ahead and tint it. Well, there is an advantage of once you move in, like if you have wood furniture, put it in the house and it gets tinted with that. Otherwise, you could bring termites in from the other house that you were at.
Right.
Yeah.
Our real estate lady told us that pretty much every house has termites. She's like, she's like, I've never really seen a house without termites or termite damage or something.
It's true, and well, here's the thing. Homes that were built like in the 1900s, the wood, that wood doesn't have termites. And it's something, I guess, with the quality of wood from back then, because I've been in homes where they have additions where the home was built in the 1900s, and then they do an addition probably like in the 80s, and the 80s, that portion's pretty much gone because it's eaten up by termites. But the old part, not a single termite. So something in the wood. But with that said, a lot of the new wood, it already comes with termites.
When they were building a house, huh?
Well, yeah, when they're already building it. Just, I guess the trees that they use now are not as resistant to termites, or is the termites are getting better at surviving. But yeah, she's right. Most homes have some type of termite damage or some type of termite, and especially here in Southern California. That's a big thing.
So it shouldn't be a deterrent, huh?
It shouldn't be a deterrent, but just be aware of it. But I would tent it just to give you that peace of mind for the 10 years that you're not going to get have to do major repairs on that.
Okay.
So termites, do an inspection, go through the neighborhood various times of days, various times of the week.
Weekdays, weekends. We did that.
Yeah.
We would show up sometimes. I think we passed by like at 10 o'clock at night to see the neighborhood, see any partying. One thing we did find out after we moved in, two things. There are like 2 homeless encampments near where we live. And I never saw them, but now that I live there, I'm like, oh shit, that's where they're at. And one of my neighbors is really good, gives me information. Around the corner from where we live, you can't tell, but he told me like there's a halfway home there. He's like, so every so often you'll see cops, but I haven't experienced anything there.
Oh, that's good.
With the halfway home, the homeless thing, I see them, but
most of the time the homeless they live in their own little world, and as long as you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. You get that 1 in a million that they're out in another world, and them and their secret ghost or their secret person try to jump you, but that's really rare.
Yeah. And I think we did have like one incident. I was like, not for us, but the other neighbors.
But no, so those are good tips that people should look for when they're buying a house. Anything else that we should cover? And
I think for the appraisal also, it has to be a VA certified individual. And what I was reading also is the VA guarantee. I think it's one of the can get you really good low interest rates, really good interest rates from what I've read. But obviously, the better your credit score, so pay off your debt beforehand, get your credit score up, fix your credit. Again, pull your credit score. You can get 1 free credit report a year. I think it's annualcreditreport.com.
Yeah, it's from the different one per year for the different 3 ratings.
For the 3 bureaus, And go in there, and I've done some tricks on there before where I've gotten some stuff knocked off, like, hey, this is a lie, and I think the companies have within 30 days
to respond.
If they don't respond, entonces it's got to be taken off, I think. So sometimes I would do that, like I would dispute it, even if it was like 2-3 months before it came off. I was like, dude, no, this is a lie. It'd get knocked off sooner, so my credit score would shoot up. But then I also started paying down some debt faster, and my credit score shot up again, so that we qualify for a much better rate. But then the sad part is the pandemic started. We bought it like 1 month before the pandemic. Once it started, then he started offering better rates. I think it was like almost like a 1% difference.
Yeah. Now, I believe there's good times to buy homes, and I mean, it's always good to buy a home at any time, but there's some times where you get better deals. When you hear people losing their homes and this is not the time to buy, you're going to get some really good deals.
Right.
You'll get home price, because the home prices are, people are losing their home, which is sad, but at the same time, that's a time where because there's so much foreclosures, there's a lot of homes in the market. You're going to get them really cheap. They're going to be ugly because you're going to be, missing a lot of stuff in the kitchen cabinets and so forth. That's how you get homes a really cheap price or low price. When everybody's buying, with the seller's market, then you're going to be competing to buy the house. You're going to be paying at the top of the market. I don't know if it's your first home and you need a home. Yeah, at any time is good. But if it's you're buying it for investment purposes, you want to, at least I like to write it off, wait until the market is primed to buy,
Right.
because you will get some really good deals. I mean, I remember when buying some apartments, I know we got 5 units for like really what you wouldn't even get a home for now. And that's how cheap. They were fixer uppers, but you got them really, really
Right.
they're cheap price. So it's something to keep in mind when you want to buy a property. When you start buying your rentals,
Right.
just save up your money for the down payment, and then
That's what I'm saying, because with the VA loan, it cannot be an investment property.
Oh.
It's got to be where you live, where you reside. So here's the workaround that people do. And the VA loan is a lifetime benefit, meaning I can reuse it 50, 60, however many times I want.
so you could buy one, live in it. Then how long do you have to live there before you go buy another one?
I don't know. I haven't asked that.
I think it's usually like 2 years, maybe.
I think it's usually 2 years where you can live in it, but there's a workaround to that. And our lender told us what you do is you live in the house. Once you're ready to buy a rental property, or if you make your initial home your rental property, you have to switch that loan to, I think, an FHA or conventional loan, and now you can start again with the
VA.
with the VA loan. So then you can use the VA loan zero down again for your next house.
Can you buy an apartment building and live in an apartment for 2 years?
So I was looking at that today. You can buy a single family home,
Or up
you
to
can
4
buy
units.
a condo, and I think it's 4 or 5 units. Yeah.
It's four units or less. In the real estate industry, they consider that still a single family home. It's not a commercial.
Gotcha.
5 units or above, it's considered a commercial
Okay.
real estate. So that's when it's considered. So that's why they allow you 4 units or
Right.
less.
Also, with the VA loan, you have to pay. I think obviously you pay for the appraisal. I think that's, I don't know, $600. I think the max. Each state has a different
Yeah.
max, right? So with the VA, I think they can't. The appraisal fee can't be more than $600. And then there's also, I think it's a fee when you get the VA loan. They charge you a fee. I don't know. I forgot what it was. It's not a lot though, but it's to kind of keep the amounts down for taxpayers. So the taxpayer amount would be down because we're paying.
Now, the
A fee
VA
for it.
loan, is that typical like a regular loan, 30 years, 15 years, or is it a standard number of years?
I think you can do both, the
Oh, so
15
you
and the
can-
30. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, that's not bad.
yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Just take advantage of it if you can.
I took advantage.
But yeah, that's
Definitely
good.
took advantage. But
Now,
I think
well, because you can only do one loan, the home you're living in.
Right.
Because in the conventional side, most banks only allow an individual to have not more than 5 loans. After 5 loans, they'll start denying you. So like you want to buy, for those people who want to buy investment properties and flip and
Right.
yeah, once you get to 5 loans, no, you can't. You got too many loans on you.
too many out of them.
I don't know why, but so then you start looking at jumbo loans. You start looking at blanket loans where you're combining properties, and so
Damn.
that's why you have to get a little creative.
That sounds expensive.
Uh,
But if they're investment
but
property,
they're investment
they shouldn't
properties,
be
yeah, they shouldn't be.
covering it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's good. I think did we miss anything about buying a home? I think we covered neighborhoods. We covered what they look for, the experience,
Pay down debt.
pay down debt. Now, as far as the real estate agents go, the sellers have their agents, right? They're the
Right.
ones that paying the commission for the agent to sell the home, and they usually share that with the buyer agent.
Right.
Some people, you could use a strategy where you could go to if there's a home that you really want and you want to know, like especially like right now when the market is everybody's fighting for it. One strategy, which I had told a friend, is like if you really want the home, don't get your own agent. Use a seller agent
I've heard about
because
that.
they double dip.
Right.
And they will help you, but you have to know what your price is and what you're willing to. You gotta know your homework on the property.
Right.
They're gonna be for the seller, not for the buyer. But you could use that to your advantage because they're gonna want to make the sale for the double dip.
Exactly.
But if it's a home that you're maybe, yeah, you want somebody to represent you, get your own agent, since you're not gonna pay for it.
And I don't think a lot of people take advantage of that, of knowing that you can go to the seller's agent and be like, hey, can you represent both of us? Because they get what, like maybe like 6%?
Typical real estate agent is 5 or 6%. So and the broker's office, that's what they charge, and then they split that commission between, if it's two offices,
Right.
typically in half.
Right.
So if it's 6%, it's 3% from one office, 3% from the other, and then from that 3%, the broker or the business owner of the real estate agent, they get at least 1 or 2%, and then the agent gets whatever's left over.
Damn.
So everybody gets a cut. The
course.
boss, and then they get the cut.
Of course, everybody
But
gets a
you're
cut.
looking at $800,000, $1 million right now in most areas.
Yeah.
400 in the hood. Hey, 3% of 400,000 is still quite
Still
a
good
bit.
money.
Yeah,
And this is a one home.
just one home.
Now, and they're representing a bunch of other homes.
Yeah, good agents will sell at least 1 or 2 homes a month.
Damn.
A real good agent. So do
Shit.
the math.
I'm in the wrong business.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot
To
of
be
work.
honest with you, it is.
To become an agent doesn't take much. You take the test,
Right.
a couple classes, and you're it. It's not like a long-term degree that you have to do.
Right.
So a lot of people end up doing that, and so there's a lot of agents. So there's a lot of
But there's no set schedule with being a real estate agent.
your schedule is typically when your client wants, you available. Weekends, after work.
I was telling you, we called our agent like at 8:00 at night. I was like, hey, Rosa, hey.
Yeah, it's because of the,
Yeah.
and she would answer.
She would answer.
She wants that commission. She wanted that commission.
She did a really good job with us.
Yeah. And that's what happens. They do a good job with you. You're going to refer to somebody else.
And she would refer to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Referrals. That's probably 80% of the agents. They make their money on referrals.
Right.
So
I would do my research too with your real estate agent. If you have a good referral, use them.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories of people that had horrible experiences with certain agents, real estate people, and
yeah. Well, one thing that if you're looking for a very specific area, let's say, I don't know, Beverly Hills or a specific neighborhood, there are agents that specialize in that neighborhood.
right,
So sometimes it's good to reach out, find out who's the agent in the area that you're looking for, who's the agent that is an expert in that area, and reach out to them. Because what happens sometimes, since they're known in that neighborhood, and they'll get listings before they even post it, and they'll tell you, I have this listing coming up. It fits what you guys are looking for. That's a good strategy as well. If you want to go in a specific area, specific neighborhood, find out who's the prominent agent, and by driving around, you can see a lot more of their signs,
right. Their faces
on the neighborhood. You'll start seeing a pattern. Okay, yeah, this agent or this company, they're prominent in this neighborhood or this community, and that works really well as well.
And I do remember our agent, she would send us stuff before it would even hit the market, because their company, whatever it is, they were the ones that were representing, like, here you go.
Yeah.
Before it goes out to the public.
listings, yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So that helped out a lot.
Okay. I think we covered everything that in buying a house on the VA side and the private side. Private side's just fill out an application, get pre-qualified, shop around for your loans. Where it changes or varies is on the points. When they talk about points, is like percentage of what your loan amount.
Right.
So 1.1%. Usually, what happens, you pay more points, lower interest rate.
Right.
If you pay less, higher interest rate, more points. So you have to figure out what works for you.
What you can afford to.
What you can afford to on your
Yeah.
payment. Now, one thing that I do recommend everybody, and I think I told you, is when you're buying a house, if you can do a one income salary, do it with one income.
Right.
And the reason for that is because if you have 2 income families and you maxed out, if one of you loses his job or one of you gets sick and you can't work, now how are you going to cover that mortgage? If it's one person, well, you figure it out.
Right.
Because you have, that extra income, to pay more into the loan. It's hard, especially here in Southern California, to do that because the home prices are so expensive. But that should be a goal, that buy a house that only the higher income person or the lower income person qualifies, because it will make your life a lot easier.
And that's how we went into it. Other people have told us the same thing you're saying. Try to do it. Get a home where you can only one salary will pay it, and you guys will be good. And we were able to do that.
Yeah, because what happens is if you or your spouse is whatever the salary, you lose your job.
Right.
No problem.
Yeah.
a big problem. If the other way, one of you loses a job, you can't make the mortgage.
Right. Then we're going to have to wait a year to get help from the
And
county.
the other thing, it makes it more difficult to go on vacation. You know, because remember, this is a 15, 30-year loan.
Commitment. It's a marriage.
It's a marriage. You're committed to this. So if you're hoping that your salary will go up with promotions and cost of living increases, but reality is you have to figure out. You want to travel. You're going to have kids. If you don't have kids, they're going to want things. Yeah. If you're paying more than 30% of your household income into housing, it will be difficult.
Yeah.
To do these extra things, you'll be working for food and to live in that house that you're looking for, and you'll be pretty much a slave to the banks and to the house for 30 years.
Shit.
The other way around, it'll be a lot easier. And you'll be able to travel. You'll be able to buy the nice car that you want. You'll be able to do the things for your kids. And it makes it a lot easier.
Right.
And that's why I always recommend
get that stress down. Yeah.
And
that's how we went into it. And it's been helpful. Te digo, it's been helpful.
Well, yeah.
Because all the things you're mentioning is exactly like our kids want to go out. We want to go on vacation and this and this and that. We need school clothes and shoes. I was like, shit, man, you guys ask for a lot. Damn leeches.
But hey, you wanted kids?
That's true.
Hey, it's only 18 years old. Well,
yeah, falta poquito.
Or 20-something if they go to college.
That's true. Yeah. What is it, 24, 26?
Well, it depends on how much you want to pay. It could be all the way to doctorate degree in 30 years.
Fuck. That's true.
So it's really up to you and your kids. But if you follow our plan, you should have money set aside. You don't have to worry about paying for the college. It will already be set aside for you.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah. Plan early. At the end, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Any thing that we need to cover? I think we covered everything.
I think so. Something will come up. Somebody asks a question, and we can just address it. Cuando.
Email us, and we'll be able to, give you our advice. Now, here's one thing: buying. Over the years, I've always thought I should have bought income property first, than home ownership.
You think so?
I think so.
I think that would suck, though.
Well, you're already living in an apartment, so you're used to living in an apartment.
Right.
So, buy like a duplex or a fourplex. So you're already used to living in an apartment. Buy an apartment. Try to pay that off, especially with the income that you're getting from it. Just pay it off. See, because I'm looking at this, if I would have done that, paid it off in 5 years or 8 years based on the income that you get from the income and your personal income and your spouse's income. If you pay it off in 8 years or 5 years, now your income just quadrupled or doubled because you got the income coming in from your rental, which that will be paid off to help you supplement to your dream house.
Right.
You get a bigger house.
I could see that.
That's the advice I'm giving my family now. Like, hey, you're gonna buy a first house, buy a duplex, buy a fourplex.
How many people have taken your advice?
Well, nobody yet, because it's so expensive.
That's true.
It's too expensive.
You got a point there.
Yeah, but that's my advice. But I don't know. It's hard to do though.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
But I think, from my perspective, what you're telling me is like it sucks. I'm living in an apartment while somebody else, but at the same time, they're generating money for you, right? Paying it off, or maybe even getting like a duplex, triplex. You live in one, y se pagan the property with the other people that are paying for you.
I knew this one guy who, he bought a house, but he was single. And he ended up renting rooms, and he had a rental in every room. Within 5 years, he had 2 houses paid off. I don't know how much he was charging rent, but he had a lot of people living in those rooms. I don't know if I would go that extreme, but yeah, he was able to. It's an option.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to make money, huh?
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, you just gotta figure out what's comfortable for you.
Yeah,
but I think we covered everything that's at least to buying a home and. What to expect, I don't know. Anything we missed?
I don't think we did. I mean, something will come up, and we can address it next time.
All right, so I think that's it for today, and
then my little speech.
Your little speech.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button,
and email your questions to us.
Yeah, email your questions.
Yeah, it's in our website, or it's in at the end of the videos at the bottom.
In the description of the video.
Yeah, so email us. We'll be happy to discuss any topics or any of these questions that we missed.
Follow-up stuff,
yeah. All right.
Cool.
Thank you. See you next week.
Háblale.
If you want to hear more stories like this, please click the like button and subscribe.
Find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.